everyone, this is Moshe, the Electric Israeli, and thank you for joining. I just completed close to almost 1,300 miles. 1,300 miles of a trip from New Jersey to Florida. It's our annual trip. Usually we do it in December, but because of the pandemic, we did it now. The first part is coming up. There's going to be a second part next week, part 2. I hope you watch it. I basically did a little different than usually my videos. You know, I showed you the route and the superchargers. Tremendous amount of V3 superchargers all along the way. I explained some of them. And then at the end, I'd give you like a little summary of the first half. So we're going to do a second half. I think I'm going to reach actually close to, I would say 2,800 miles. I thought it would be 2,500, but 2,800. We're going to do a lot of driving around. So I will give you a lot of explanation. I did a Hebrew version as well for my Israeli fans. So there's a lot of voiceover. You're not going to hear the Hebrew in the background, don't worry. A lot of voiceover, and in conclusion, it's all in English. It's all for you. And it is with my Tesla Model Y, which is an awesome long range trip, mega trips like this. This is like over 4,000 kilometers. I would say 2,800 miles. We'll see what happens at the end. So enjoy all the videos and come back next week. Hey everybody, Moshe the Electric Israeli is here, and today I'm already arrived in Florida, and we went on our annual trip, 2,500 miles, both direction, about 4,000 kilometers from northern New Jersey all the way down to Florida. We took our usual route on Highway 95, stopping in 9 superchargers along the way. The first one was in Maryland, right outside of Baltimore, White Marsh in Maryland. It is a V3. I'm going to talk about those amazing superchargers. As you see, there's so many of them built, and many of them are being built. So this whole range anxiety issue that used to be part of our annual trip a few years ago, completely gone. So we stopped there, and then the next one we stopped in Glen Allen, which is in Virginia. We picked up my son from college in University of Maryland. We picked him up, and then we moved on to Glen Allen Supercharger, right after Washington, D.C. We went there, and then things started to change, because we were going to go to certain superchargers, but there were some road construction, so we had to go to our plan was to go to Glen Allen, as you see now, and we did go there, but we had to go to other superchargers that we didn't plan. But all in all, there are so many of them, so many superchargers along the way, so we were having no issues. We stayed in Rocky Mount, North Carolina for the night. We got there around midnight. And from there, we continued on down around Richmond, Virginia on 295. We just veered a little bit around Richmond, Virginia. It was actually a very nice ride. It was a bit longer, but it wasn't a big deal at all. So we did that. So that was great. Then we did stop in Lumberton. We did not stop in Florence. We were going to stop in Florence, but we did not, because it just didn't work out. Then I tried to avoid by all costs this supercharger in Santee, but eventually I ended up there. One of the chargers didn't work, whatever. So, but we were there, not that long. You know, I came almost the first one. So we were there, and then from Santee, which is level 2 charger, that's why I tried to avoid it. We continued on, and we found nothing but V3 chargers, which are really, really incredibly amazing. So they are like game changers, really game changers. Almost 1,000 miles per hour charging. There's one in Hartsville, which means from Santee we didn't have to go all the way to Kingsland, which is down in the southern part of Georgia. So we could stop in the middle, because there's a Savannah, Georgia supercharger but it's in the airport and it's always full, and we always try to do everything we can to avoid it. So these V3 chargers are really making life much easier. See, here's the Savannah one. We don't want to go there. I highly suggest that you don't want to go there because it is in an airport and it's slow. It's like 125 kilowatt, and it's always full with people parking their car and leaving to take flight. In Brunswick, great supercharger. We stopped there. Awesome supercharger. Kingsland, we didn't have to stop. It's not a bad one, but it is a V2, I'm sorry. So we didn't have to stop there. So that was not a big deal. And then we went around Jacksonville and down I-95 towards southern Florida. We went to Delray. St. Augustine, we didn't stop. We didn't have to stop there. Again, Jacksonville, we didn't have to stop. And then we continued on down south. Palm Coast, we did stop there. It is a V3. So that's a really a great one to stop and charge. And then you can go down, continue on to this one. This one we didn't charge, but it is also V3, I believe. And then we had one more stop in Vero Beach, actually. We had one last night in Vero Beach. That was the last one we did. We didn't stop in Port St. Lucie, but we stopped in Vero Beach, and that took us down. The Vero Beach is the one on top, and it took us all the way down to our destination in Delray Beach, which is an awesome. Now, there is a supercharger not too far from where we are. If we need to stop, in that area, you see that one on the left. That's the one we can go to charge while we're here, even though the place that where we are has a little outlet, so it's slow charge, but that's a big deal. Let me show you some videos that we took along the way. Enjoy the rest of the video. One of the great things about supercharging is you can watch YouTube. So my sons were watching the NBA, and then this is one of the first superchargers that we stopped along the way. And look at, I did this in kilometers actually, the supercharging. So it went all the way up to over 200, 209, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 8, 19, 20. Look at that, 1,500 kilometers per hour. It's going to reach 1,600 kilometers per hour. That is what these fast chargers, the V3 fast chargers, do. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. This is the one right outside of Baltimore, and there's so many more of them built, and they all are V3, which makes the trip significantly shorter than what it used to be. And I've done this trip several times already in my Model 3. Then after that stop, we went to the University of Maryland. This is me. Actually, this is the version, my Hebrew version. So I'm going to do this voiceover for you. The dorms in Maryland University, waiting for my older son to come, and he joined us. There he is, joining us with his two bags. And we had a really short stop in the university. There's actually a lot of students walking around there, I have to be honest with you. And then we continued on to the Glen Allen supercharger this is actually in Virginia, and that's a V2. So you can see a significant difference. The starting point was 105 kilowatt hours, which only gave us 700 kilometers per hour to start, but then it goes down significantly, as you know. It does go down significantly as the time goes by. So that will give you basically almost 25 to 50% more time that you have to wait to get the next destination. In other words, you have to wait much longer. But it's a very nice supercharging line, about 16 stalls. There was actually a Tesla Model S. There it is. Tesla Model S, the original one, like the original Tesla Model S. I'm going to get a little closer. I think I couldn't get too close to it because there was a driver there, so I don't want to creep him up. But he was charging there, and that is you know, the original Tesla with the old front fascia, which is very, very nice. It's just like all the superchargers, they are located in large shopping malls. There was a Man Warehouse if you wanted to get yourself a nice suit. So that's a good step. And then from there, we continued on and made it to actually we made it to the night. We made it to the night there. So after Glen Allen, we went to Rocky Mount, which is right by the DoubleTree Hotel. So what's good about that supercharger is that you can charge your car, get into the hotel, get your stuff, check in, get yourself settled in the room and everything, and then from there, and then like let's say half hour, you know, 35 minutes, you can go back to the hotel, to the supercharger, and unplug your car and park it right in front. It's a walking distance. It's really, really nice. So there is no issue there. And from there, we set up the time to go to our rest of our trip. So like I said at the beginning, we had 9 supercharging stops. Here's my son's playing frisbee right there. This is one of my least favorite spots to be. That is Santee, and here is additional cargo. This is what's so great about the Tesla Model Y. My son from college brought more of his cargo, so this was really nice to put in, and we still had room to spare. So, you know, you can hang out over there. I tried to avoid this spot, but you know what? It just didn't work out in terms of, we had like a little reroute, like I said before. And this is funny. This is Tesla's cars, especially the Model 3 and Model Y. It's a bug magnet. Okay, all the bugs on the highway joined us in our ride. If you never made the trip down 95, right at the end of North Carolina, before South Carolina, there's this place called South of the Border. It's one of the most disgusting, creepiest place. I stopped there one time with my wife just to see. It's like supposed to be a hotel, and it is a place where you can film horror movies. If you didn't stop there, please don't. It is so absolutely disgusting, and I cannot believe that it's still open. So I always marvel every time we drive there that it's still open and people actually go there. It is disgusting. Anyway, and only in America you can see a house on the highway, a whole house down on the highway. I can still cannot get used to it. Then we went to this awesome supercharger in Brunswick, Virginia. It's a new one. It's a V3, and it has, I believe, I counted it, 26 stalls. 3 of them, the face-forward variety that I really like. The face-forward, you just come in, look at my Model Y right there, and there's another Model Y, 2 Model Ys facing forward right there. So this was really awesome. And again, I cannot emphasize enough how important this V3 supercharger to the adoption of electric cars, of Tesla cars. They are so quick and so fast. You can go 15 minutes and you are literally out of there. So we really enjoyed those new V3 superchargers, and this one is in Brunswick. It's in the middle of Georgia, down before you get into Florida. It's really great option for you. Okay guys, we made it last night after 23 hours of driving. So we left Thursday afternoon around 2:30, and then we made it to Rocky Mount at midnight, and then we left around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning on Friday, and we made it here around 9:30. So we drove 1,291 miles, consuming 380 kilowatt hour of battery, and the watt hour per mile was a whopping 295 watt hour per mile. And I have to tell you that I could have easily achieved 250, even less. But what we did is we just drove. I mean, you saw it was 3 of us. My wife actually flew instead. It was 3 of us, me and my 2 sons, packed front and back cargo, packed, and we drove, you know, average 75 miles. We started in around 16, 17 degrees, and we ended up in Florida. It was close to 90 degrees actually in Jacksonville. So air conditioning was on the entire time. So we drove. We gave it its best, and I think it averaged, if I had to go all the way, it averaged, I would say, 250 miles of really rated range. We didn't drive actually 250 miles between each supercharger because the distances were closer, but we drove about 180, I believe, was the biggest distance that we drove, about 300 kilometers or so at the biggest distance. So that's what's great about the Tesla Model Y. I have to say, this is my first mega trip. We drove the Model Y, you know, 300, 400, 500 miles, you know, no big deal. But this is a mega trip with only half of it. So we are going to do a part 2 to this video. Hopefully you can join us next week when I give you the overall numbers. And I am going to push it. I'm going to push it, and I bet you I'm going to reset the entire Florida trip odometer, and I will bet you that going back, the watt hour per mile can be even greater. Now that I understand how this car works, I will not be afraid to, you know, press and go faster. Even the 75 miles an hour can go average 80 miles an hour, be no problem, because there are so many superchargers and they are really, really quick. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. See you at second part next week.